And here he is compared to a Black Lab Great Dane. What's going on, everybody? S.L.B coming at you with another video review, and this time we're taking a look at Fans Toys FT-28 Hydra. And really quickly, we're going to take a look at the packaging. On the front of the packaging, it just has Hydra, Fans Toys, Wolf mode, Robot mode, Jet, Spaceship, whatever you call it, mode up there, FT-28 at the bottom, big box, Hydra on the bottom. This side of the packaging just has the Wolf mode, Hydra on that side. Top of the packaging, Hydra FT-28. On this side of the packaging, it just has the Jet, Spaceship, whatever you call it, mode, Hydra FT-28. On the back of the packaging, it just has a brief bio of Hydra here, and it has all of his modes right here. Robot mode, tank mode, armored SUV, truck, whatever you call it, mode, laughable gun mode, Jet, Spaceship mode, and Wolf mode there. So let's get him out of the packaging and see what he looks like in hand. So before we get into the figure, let's go over what's included in the packaging. What's included in the packaging is the obligatory collector card with what looks like a CGI rendering of Sixshot, not an actual picture of him, which is pretty nice. Got Fan Toy Hydra on the front. On the back, it just says that bio again from the box, along with some actual pictures of the toy figure, whatever you want to call him, in robot mode and his wolf mode. Plus, you've got your tech specs right there. Nice thick card stock. You know how much I like my collector cards, so there is that. Also included in the packaging, you do have your instruction sheets, which are very nicely done. Very nice. There's some parts that are a little tedious that really don't quite explain. I will admit I had to go to a couple other video reviewers to figure out transformation, just to get a few things, make sure I was doing it correctly. But other than that, it's really nicely done. Really nice paper, really nice instructions. Fans Toys, yay for instructions. Also included in the packaging is an additional chest plate with not as much detail as the one I have on him right now. But this is the additional one that comes on. Got a little bit of a chip right there. No, that's actually part of the molding. Sorry. A little bit of molding here. I'm just going to say right now, the paint, phenomenal. But we'll get more into that when we get into the figure itself. A little bit of molding detail on the front here. This turquoise color is gorgeous. It has a little bit of a metallic flake to it, which looks really nice in the light. The black, not a glossy, not a flat. Again, it may have a little bit of that metal flake in it to kind of give it a little bit of a sparkle, but not too much. So there's that. And on the back, it's got a little bit of molded detail as well. Looks really nice. I like that. And it's just a simple bit of pulling out screws and replacing them. But there is that. Also included in the packaging, you do get two guns here, which are really nice molds. Nice silver plastic. Looks really good. Nicely molded. And I like them. And we'll go more into these when we get into robot mode, but there is the handle form just flips out, and nicely tight too. If you want to loosen it, there's a screw right there. You can loosen them, but they're really nice, really tight, really solid. I do like them, although they feel kind of hollow. But again, the hand grip, just the folding of it, really nice and sturdy and tight, and it's not a floppy mess, which is really nice. But you get those. And now what I think is probably the best accessory in this box, you do get his sword, which is molded really nicely. Really nice. I like the jagged edge at the back here, along with the ridges in the front. Looks really good, really nice and beefy. But the coolest part is you can separate them. So you have two swords, which are really nice. And another cool thing about it, which I don't think I've ever seen this on a Fans Toys figure before, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're magnetized. You got little magnets at the tip there to keep them together at the top, which I think is great because you don't lose the profile of the blade with another peg popping out up here, which I think this magnet is a brilliant idea. So there is that. I mean, yeah, you've got the peg down here, But again, your focus isn't drawn to the hilt right here. It's right up here, and it's a nice smooth surface. So the magnets are a very nice touch, and I do appreciate that. But we'll get more into the accessories when we get to robot mode. So we're going to do this video review a little differently than usual. As you'll notice, he's not out here right now. This is not video editing trickery. What I'm going to do is I'm going to review him from the worst mode to the best mode, so you can get an idea of where I stand on Fans Toys, Hydra, Sixshot, whatever you want to call them. So let's get into what I feel is the worst mode. Starting off, here we have it in submarine mode. No, I'm joking. This is not Titan's Return Sixshot. This is Fans Toys Sixshot. This is supposedly the gun mode. And this is terrible. This is a floppy mess right here. These things are floppy messes. These are supposed to be, get these out to see these, and there's your one issue right there. I don't know how well you guys are seeing this on camera, but I'm trying really hard here. Let's get those out. Let's just grab this so we can, there we go. Let's get that out. Those are supposed to be your barrels. And you'll see these again in tank mode, and these are a joke. I'll complain about them again in tank mode. Luckily, this is the only time you'll see them. These little pieces of PVC or whatever the hell they are. But this is a joke. This is an upside down tank. I mean, maybe you can put these away. Excuse me. I think you're supposed to turn these into. But I mean, this is not good. He's too heavy. An ongoing issue with him is this doesn't stay together. These are floppy. His knees, everybody's been complaining about the knees, and there's an issue in this mode, especially because there's a lot of die cast up here in the front, and it just, if you're not careful and you're messing around with it, it'll flop down like that. So there's that. The trigger doesn't do anything. It's heavy too. I mean, there's a lot of die cast in him, and it's just not a smart. I mean, yes, it's Sixshot. He's supposed to have 6 modes. One of them is supposed to be the gun. I don't see a lot of people keeping him in this mode because of just the weight of him, fear of him falling. So there is that. You can also take the guns and plug them on. I'll show this again when we get into tank mode. But there's that. Oh, Jesus. There we go. All right, so there we have that, and that is just a giant joke. You've got the armored SUV mode windshields up here that you can clearly see. You're supposed to put these away. I just don't feel like it because I just think this mode is the weakest of all of them. So that is that. I'm not even going to compare it to anything. There it is, and yeah, it's bad. So here we have the tank mode, and I'm giving them a B for effort. It's not the worst. It is, however, not great. It's not awesome. It's not outstanding. It's barely passable. So let's get into the tank mode here, and I transform this as best I can, and my main issue is they tell you to tab all this together, and it doesn't. I've tried numerous tricks to try to get it to tab in, and it doesn't. It's this whole issue right here. So let's move on to the look. You can clearly see the wolf head peeking through. That's a big down for me. The treads here themselves look really good. Nice silver paint, nice black paint here on the bottom. Nice detail in them as well, all throughout. When you are transforming, I highly recommend you use this right here because you have to see if I can show you, because there's a joint right here that you have to turn it to get it in this cavity, and it's a lot easier if you use this because this is die cast instead of this, which is plastic. So there's your hint from S.L.B. So There's that. And it just continues on right here. And this thing, again, one of my main issues. I was watching, who else did T-Man did a review on this, and his is just as floppy, even more floppy than mine. Insert penis joke here. So let's move up to the top and talk about these jokes of whatever you want to call them. You could have given us something else, Vans Toys. I mean, this looks like 2 pieces of PVC on a metal pipe. I mean, this is a joke. This is not good. It's a solid B for effort. This part is just ridiculous. I mean, it's not the worst. Again, I mean, it's just why couldn't you give us a couple extra guns to plug in here, or given us something to plug into the guns here, so we could use these as the firing portions instead of this. Speaking of these, you can, if you're really upset about it like I am, what you can do is there's a hole here and a tab here, and it's stupid tight, and there you go. That's what you can do if you so choose. And like I said, it's these pop off, and there's really not much you can do about it. So there's that. It doesn't roll. There's no wheels. It's just stationary. It's supposed to look like a tank thing, but it's just there. So B for effort. B, not an A B. So for comparison, Combiner Wars Motormaster. There you go. So it's getting better from this point on, I promise. The next mode will be better. So let's move on to the next mode. So here we have Hydra in his jet mode, and he's going to be in the middle of this review because there are good things and there are bad things, and they're kind of neck and neck. They're kind of tied with each other. Overall, though, it's a nice looking jet mode from this angle. From this, not so much, because you got the truck windshields down here, but this kind of evens everything out down at the bottom to give them a nice flat surface to stand on. Which brings me to one of my issues. But let's go over the look of the figure first. It's not very streamlined. You got some nice intakes on the front here. Looks pretty good. You got that same silver paint on the side here. A little bit of purple paint up here. And the transformations, once you get the hang of the transformation for this, for any mode, it's easy. It's just when you first get it, like every Transformer, you're kind of like, duh, what? But moving right along, looks pretty good. Some nice thrusters back here. Everything fits together very well. Yeah. The wings look good. The positioning of the wings look good. And the overall wingspan is very nice too. So there you have that. For comparison, let's see the comparison really quickly. Let's move them over here. Oh, wait, before we get into the comparison, you can take the guns and use the pegs here and plug it onto the wings right there. There we go. So now he's all armored up. So for comparison, move him back there. An MP Seeker, just to give you an idea of what they look like together. So there you have that. And let's see if I can do this. We'll put Hydra back there. And you can tell what kind of an amazing wingspan he has. So there's that for comparison. So just a quick issues I have with the jet mode. First and foremost, this front section has a tendency to really not hold itself together. It's mainly the leg transformation. You have to get it just right and the inner parts positioned just right to get everything to tab in, but the slightest thing will make them separate. Another issue I have, and I don't know if I'm the only one, but there really is no ability to put a flight stand on it. Like, there's this part right here, but this is actually the trigger for the gun mode. I've tried, this is a Seeker flight stand. There's really nothing, you can't really, I mean, yes, you could do that, but he's so back heavy at this point that it's kind of hard. And this is, like I said, see how easily it comes apart. Even if you flip it around like this and try to peg it in, there's really no, see, you can't do that. Let's throw that on the floor. And then we have, this is the flight stand for Fans Toys Swoop. And let me readjust the camera so you can see. So if we take this part, if we could try to get it in here, there's no, it's too, the stand itself is too thick to put in this area, and there's no hole or anything for a flight stand. Even if you flip this down, you can't really get it in there. There may be a spot right here, but since this is in the way, you can't plug it in. So there is that. Ground floor. All right, so that is it for jet mode. Let's move on to the next mode. So here we have him in his car armored truck mode, and I like the look of the armored truck. It's big, it's beefy, it's huge. Let's take a quick look at the windshields, which I like this dark blue clear plastic windshield. I think that is gorgeous. On the front here, you got some nice vents right here, some nice dark metal gray. You got that little bit lighter blue plastic right here. The wheels are nice and rubber, and there's no hindrance whatsoever. And I like the fact that the front is a little bit smaller than the rear wheels. And it's just the same back section right here. You can kind of see the wolf head poking out. Think peekaboo. Yeah, overall, it's a nice armored vehicle, truck. Another nice armored like SUV. You can take the guns, and there are holes up top here. Just plug it in right there. Plug it in right there, and there you go. Have them all armored up, and it looks really good. I'd like it. Again, I have the issue of this front section right here not pegging together properly, and the other issue I have is this major gap right here in the front. Right here. I mean, I can stick my entire finger in there, and you know, it's tight.
All right.
Just gonna keep doing this until people feel uncomfortable with me doing this. Just Should I do it to the other side? Anywho, moving on. Got a little excited there for a second. So another small issue I have is there are, hang on one second, let me grab something. All right, here's another issue I have. If I can take this off and kind of fold this away just so I can show you. There are pegs on the side here that plug into holes on here. These things are stupid tight. Be very careful when you're pulling this off, going through transformations, because this could potentially break, or eventually you're going to wear the paint off of the pegs down here. But I just want to say, be very careful. Don't just yank, slowly, you know, back and forth rock it to unpeg it. But there you have that. And that's really my only issue. When you're going into transformation to kind of move these up, make sure you have them extended just right to where the holes and the pegs line up, and you have the wheel positioned properly, because if you have it too far forward, you're going to have a hindrance right here. But nevertheless, I mean, if you have it just right, it's going to roll just fine. So there he is, all armored up. And for a quick comparison, here he is next to Combiner Wars Motormaster. There you have that. All right. Moving right along into the next mode. So here we have Hydra, Sixshot, whatever you want to call him, in the quote-unquote wolf mode. And I think that this mode in particular is probably my second favorite. What blows my mind about this is the profile and the overall look of the wolf. You can tell it's not just, you know, a robot on its hands and feet with a dog head. You've got nice, you know, profile of this arch right here along with the hind legs bending that way. And you've got a nice head sculpt here for the front of it. It's a little on the small side. I get it. I know. I feel that they were kind of compensating the size of the head just so they could fit it in this section right here. Because this is where the wolf head goes when it's not in this mode. So I think that's why they kind of made it the size it is. Because it fits in there really nicely. There we go. Sorry, a little mistransformation. So let's go over the look of him in this mode, and that head sculpt is very nice. A lot of white plastic on this guy. The eyes are painted nice, glossy red. I don't know if you can see that right there. The wolf paws are die cast, which are really nice. You got a little bit of articulation in there for that. We'll go over that when we go over the articulation part, but there's that. And this is bugging me to no end. I'll figure that out later. Not a lot of paint apps on this, which is okay because it's Fans Toys. It's got a very, in this mode in particular, it's got a very toy look to it. Just going over to the back. The back feet are die cast as well, and it's got that nice gunmetal kind of metallic black to it, which looks really nice. And I do like the fact that the front paw and the back paw are two separate colors. I don't know why. It just breaks it up and makes it look unique. And I think this looks good with the purple, whereas this looks good with the white plastic. I think that's a notch to them. So good on you, Fans Toys. You got some silver paint right here for a little bit of detail. On the back, you got some nice gunmetal gray, very dark gunmetal gray right here. It matches this piece right here is die cast, so it matches that very nicely. A little bit of molded detail back there. And just the same on this. So let's go over articulation for this mode. Articulation, the head can look down that far, can look up that far. It is an issue for me, and I'm a dog guy, so this is why I have an issue with it. But there's no swivel left or right, because it would have been cool to kind of do like a confused dog look. But that's just me because I'm a dog guy. The mouth can open not very far, which is kind of a bummer. You can only get like a medium bark out of this. If it could open up a little bit more, but it's got some nice molded teeth in there. It would have been nice to get some paint on the inside of the dog mouth, or at least have the teeth painted chrome. That's just a personal preference of me, but again, this is a very toy aesthetic, so I get why they did that. There is no articulation down here just because of the way everything is supposed to peg together, but you know, it's me and sometimes I don't follow the rules. The arms up here can do a full 360 on a very nice, not soft ratchet, not super hard ratchet, but a nice ratchet nonetheless, give you that satisfying clicking sound, but still maintaining the pose it's in right there. And if you get the wing out of the way, you can go out that far with it. There is an elbow joint right here. And the paws, like I said, can go forward and back like this, or if you even want more, you can get like that. Let's turn them around this way. The back legs, not a ratchet, a very stiff, very nice swivel right there. Can do a full 360. This joint right here, for this part, super tight. If you work it a little bit back and forth, it will loosen up on you, but right out of the packaging, this joint is super tight. And the back paw is a little bit of a toe articulation up and down like that, and that's not supposed to happen. And that's another issue I have with this figure, but I'll go over that when I get into my final thoughts. And the wings you can position however you want, up and down, left and right like that. I mean, that's that. So for comparison, I'm just going to compare it to one thing really quickly here. And I do not have a Titan's Return, Sixshot, or anything like that. Sorry, I failed. But here he is next to Generation Toys Gorilla. Let's move him over here. Just so you can get an animal comparison. So that is it for comparison. Now let's move on to the final mode, which is my favorite mode. So here we have the final form mode, whatever you want to call it. And in my opinion, this is the best one, even though it still has issues. But we'll get into that when we get into final thoughts. Let's move on to the figure itself and let's take a look at that head sculpt. So let me bring him in a little bit. And let me raise the camera. Right about how's right. You sick yet? You sick? You get nauseous from this up and down? Right about there. All right, bring him in a little bit more. The sculpt on the helmet and the mouthpiece is beautiful. It is a lot of white plastic, but it's broken up by the red eyes with the black outline right here. And I think that it adds to the character to have these cold, even though they're red eyes staring through a lot of white plastic. It's just like it's burning a hole in my soul. The face, this is a breathtaking face sculpt. I think going down to the chest area, you've got some nice silver paint in here with some molded detail, and I'll bring in the additional chest piece you can use, so you can have either one, less detail, more detail. It's up to you. But there's that. Going down, a lot of solid white plastic in the upper section here. It's very toy aesthetic, not really cartoony because it still has a little bit of molded. It's not very smooth, but it's very, you know, that's the kind of way they're going with here. So let's go down to the bottom, look at those legs and feet. And I'll just bring this up right now as one of my main issues. In car mode, you had the two gaps on the side, and in robot mode, you've got two gaps here. And yes, I'm fingering my figure, so get used to it. And I double checked, there's no panel back here that you're supposed to flip down. These don't slide. It's kind of a drawback to have these giant gaps right here. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below. But if we turn him slightly, we get that silver paint on the side here that we've seen throughout the entire figure. So, and these feet are nice and die cast, and it's a nice gunmetal gray with a little bit of flake in it to give it a little shine. So there you have that. So now let's move him back up, and we'll go over the articulation, and we'll bring it in close so you can see. Bring it down a little bit more. There we go. All right. I gotta scoot in my chair a little bit. So articulation wise, let's get the wings out of the, let's leave the wings there for now. Okay. The head is on a swivel, can look up and down that far. It's also on a rotation, can do a full 360. The shoulders, nice ratchet 360, can go out that far. That far. If you want a little bit of extra, you know, like a butterfly kind of movement, you can get that. If you want to really get a deep butterfly, you can use this mechanism right here for added articulation. And there we go. Moving on to the arms, let's move down. Right about here's a good spot. There is a bicep swivel. Can't do a full 360. There's a very nice surprise. You'd think that this would be the only elbow articulation you can do, but if you go back here, this is stupid tight. But if you just kind of grab it and move it, there's a surprise hidden double jointed elbow right there, which looks really nice. So there's that. The hands are on a swivel. You can do a full 360. Fans, toys, fingers are always stupid tight. So let's grab those out. Well, let's get this panel out of the way so we can actually see it here. Here we go. You have your ball joint at the thumb and a hinge at this section, knuckle of the thumb right here. And you also have, let's get the thumb out of the way. Each finger is individually articulated. So you have a hinge at this knuckle, as well as a hinge at this knuckle right here, as well as you have this for the weapons, which I'll show off later. Let's move that. Get that back into position. Let's go over the midsection here. You don't have a big, huge waist articulation right there. You only get like 2 clicks right there, but you do get a very soft ratcheted ab crunch, which only gets you about there. See it well, you can see that right there. Let's get these arms out of the way so we can do this. Hip skirt moves forward. Legs can go very far forward like that. Hip skirts in the back do not move, but you can go that far back. You can get outward movement, very nice right there. And you do have a swivel at the upper thigh right here. So let us go down one more floor, and we'll back them up a little bit so we can get everything in one shot. All right, the knees. Everybody's been having issues with the knees. And I understand it. I get it. Going through all the transformations, the knees are going to loosen up. I haven't really needed. It's a very soft ratchet. I haven't needed to tighten them. But if you want to, the screw right there, you can use to tighten up. So just use that. But that's a nice knee bend right there. You also have a little bit of a knee swivel because of this point right here, which we've used mainly for transformation, but just be very careful because it's stupid tight. And another issue a lot of people have, another issue that I have, is not a lot of ankle articulation. You get a little bit of a tuck right here with the toes, but that's about it. And you have full range like that. So there you have that for articulation. Let me reposition him and get the camera situated, and then we'll go into comparisons and then all that fun stuff. All right, so let's plug in the gun, plug in the sword, and then we will get into some comparisons. So for the gun, all you gotta do, I'm just gonna do one of each. It's just easier that way. So all you do is just fold it down, and it's like your masterpiece. You can get the thumb around it. It's just very nice. Just kind of position it like so. Get that in there. And wrap the fingers around. Make sure that's nice and in there. And he holds that very well. That ain't going nowhere. As for the sword, right here, you can keep it together, which is really nice. And fans, toys, fingers, always stupid tight. So let's open that up. Get the thumb. Where's my spudger? I don't think I've ever used this as much as I've had to use it for this figure. And there's a lot of little panels like here and moving stuff, and it's boggles my mind how much I've had to use this just for this figure. So let us get the thumb situated properly, and we can take the sword together as one piece, plug it in, wrap the thumb around, wrap the fingers, and even that in itself is nice and tight and secure, which is nice. But if we take the gun out of this hand, take the sword, come on, Come on. Oh, wow, there we go. All right. Just get a little spudger, separate it like so. Magnets. Anyway, take this one, plug it in this hand, wrap the hand around. Like so. Take this one, plug it in this hand, wrap it, and there you've got him dual wielding swords, which I think looks badass. There you have that. So let's get into comparisons. Let's position him accordingly right here. How well is that? Is that good? How about right there? Let's move the camera back. There we go, so we can see him. So let's just get everybody in one giant group shot. Here he is with MP Soundwave and MP Thundercracker. And this is the only comparison I'm gonna do here, just to show you what he looks like. Because this has been a long video, I can already tell. So there you have that. And then, now let me reposition him and I'll give you my final thoughts on the entire figure. So for final thoughts for Fans Toys Hydra / Sixshot, I like him. The alt modes, you know, I've ranked them worst to best in my opinion, and they are quite questionable. The gun mode is a joke. Tank mode is barely passable. The jet mode, if they would have included a flight stand somewhere to get him on top, they would have somehow made it possible to tuck the windshield sections for the car mode inward so it can give him a more smoother look. Would have been better. The car mode is decent enough. The tires are nice. The look of the car mode is, you know, it's an armored car. The wolf mode is good. I just wish that wolf head had more head articulation. And the robot mode, in my opinion, shines the best. The silhouette, the profile, it looks like Sixshot. That face sculpt, I swear, in my opinion, it is gorgeous. I do also have my issues with it. This gap right here, the limited ankle articulation, the knees are going to be problematic at some point, and I hope Fans Toys is watching my review as well as other people's reviews, because everybody that's done a review has made complaints about the knees. So if at some point they go, okay, maybe we should bring out a replacement part, they can do that. Another issue that I didn't quite go into, it's more of a my personal thing. I think having the tires on the side here is kind of an eyesore. If there was you can tuck them in there, but you're going to drastically limit the elbow articulation because there is this bar right here that kind of connects the two and it limits the articulation. I think the swords are beautiful. Yes, it's all silver plastic, but if you wanted to, you could, you know, paint the handles black or the hilt a different color. I like the molding on the edge of the blade here. I think that's a nice added touch. And the fact that there are magnets in here to hold it in place up at the top here and not a peg sticking out, I think that's a great idea. I think that's genius, and it just adds to the overall look of the blade. So I think that's a good thing in my opinion. If I had to rank him out of 10, I would say Fans Toys Hydra's 7 out of 10. His best mode is his robot mode, and let's be honest, that's the only mode you're going to keep him in. So that's, I think, why they kind of held back a little bit on the alt modes. But again, it's gaps here, gap in the car mode, these things flipping out and not being tight and not hidden well enough. And there also is a lack of paint. It just doesn't bother me too much. Yes, it's white plastic, but that is Sixshot. The paint on him is gorgeous. I like the added silver highlights in the chest, so I'm going to keep this chest on and not the other one. I would recommend this figure. So that has been my review of Fans Toys FT-28 Hydra, and this is S.L.B. You can find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. All that information will be in the description down below. I have a PayPal. If you want to throw a couple bucks my way, please feel free to do that. Information will be in the description. I also have a t-shirt. Buy my t-shirt. Link to that will be in the description down below. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. This is S.L.B. And this has been my review of Fans Toys Hydra, and this is S.L.B saying, my childhood hates me.